Steve Best here, Steve Best Shoots. I'm interviewing and shooting Matt Daniel Baker today. I've shot him a few times. He's a very funny man, but also magic and mind reading stuff. I'm into you don't know I'm into magic, do you? I was Young Magician of the Year finalist, I can't remember what year it is now, but we'll talk magic stuff. I love magic. I'm a bit geeky. I love a bit of magic. Matt Daniel Baker coming into the studio for a shoot, and we'll have a little interview with him as well. Matt Daniel Baker. Look, he's got props with him. Matt.
I've brought a right load of old stuff.
What is that?
That's Muttley. He's my 3-wood head cover. Do you remember him? Wacky Races.
Oh yeah, Muttley.
Yeah. Do something, Muttley.
You could do it. I think everybody could do the laugh, can't they? We've just done a photo shoot.
Hello there.
Just a photo shoot. It was a kind of slightly different photo shoot in the sense that you wanted something specifically.
I came for specifics. I needed an awards host shot, black tie, bow tie, and
look, we're in the mirror there.
my little Oscar.
That's art. That's art for you, mate. That's art.
That's not my Oscar.
So that was the Oscar. So it was kind of for kind of corporate award gigs.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got nice shots like that, and then also you did one in your attire you got there because that was in a tux. This is in show stuff. Got some of that. And a golf theme.
The golf thing with Muttley.
Yeah, I put those on. They were good. It was quite funny because you had to take. We didn't know it was a golf club, so yes. I said, "Look, take it off." When, why, where? Not comedy, but kind of comedy, but magic. Because I started in magic.
Yeah.
Did you start in magic?
I did not. No.
Oh.
I got into it quite late, actually. I started off as a footballer. I was at Watford throughout my teens into my late teens.
Shut up! I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then that didn't work out, which was immediate. One night, bang, all over. Ruthless, that was.
What do you mean it didn't work? You had an injury or?
No. They were going through the academies, and then literally one day they separated two halves of the group, and one stayed and one went home. It literally was. It was as quick as that. I think they do it a bit more gently these days. But back then it was.
Shit.
See you later. Yeah.
But even from that. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
I've known you for a long time, didn't I? But you couldn't go to another place.
I went semi-pro. I went to Saffron Walden, which was like a zillion miles away up the M11. But it was all right because at the same time I was sort of starting to want to be an actor.
Right.
So it kind of, it was already. It wasn't that I was stopping football, but my mind was sort of half and half. And then I left college. I was still playing football, and then I decided, right, I need to find somewhere to act, and I found a little amateur repertory company in Islington called the Tower Theatre, which is sadly no longer there, and I literally went in and said, can I help work backstage? I built props and sets and got in with them, and eventually they put me in a play. And then I also, no one knows this, this will surprise you more than a football, the first lead role I got in a UK tour, big show called Girls Night Out. I was a stripper.
Get off.
Think Full Monty, but back then when I was, did it for about 2.5-3 years, all over the UK and in the West End at the Victoria Palace. And I worked front of house in all the West End theatres as I was trying to be an actor. The Victoria Palace being the first one I ever worked at, which was the Buddy Holly story, and then Brian Connolly with Al Jolson.
Wow.
And while I was going to work, and then I worked at Miss Saigon, front of house, and while I was going to work, a homeless guy got on the train asking for money, and he said, I don't want to beg, I want to earn it. And he got a yellow hanky, put it in his fist, and it vanished, and I couldn't believe it. The feeling that it gave me literally was a light bulb moment, and I thought, I need that, whatever that was, that feeling, I need to own it.
Did you give him any money?
Do you know, I didn't. But it was off the train. He was just gone. He'd obviously done it so many times and just
not expecting it.
Yeah. And I think I was still transfixed, going, something's going on it, and he was gone. To this day, I feel sort of bad about it, but I've dealt with it.
In therapy for 30 years. Yeah.
So then, while I was sort of jobbing around, I went past Davenport's, which was a magic shop in Charing Cross, which is again no longer there.
Davenport's magic was my start in magic as well. Is that every birthday I had, I get my parents to go and we, nothing was online obviously then. Yeah. So it was Davenport's magic and Alan Allen's as well, which is around the corner. And I used to get a magic trick every birthday. Fantastic.
There it was, yeah. So I didn't really know that it was there. So I walked past, saw it, went in and said, a few weeks ago I saw this guy, homeless guy, do this trick, and they sold me the stuff. And there was a magician behind the counter who I now know was a guy called Robert Pound, and he did some card tricks and he sold me a book, and I was like, wow. And I went away thinking, I'm going to learn one brilliant card trick. I'm going to live my life with the most amazing card trick. This is it. So I set about learning an amazing card trick and then did it, and people said, oh, do another one. So then you go, and I just got into it, and then I understood the psychology of magic. I started to get interested in that, and slowly but surely I got asked to do people's birthdays, stuff up the pub, someone's wedding. Then I got introduced to two magicians, Keelan Laser, Nick Reed, three magicians, and Richard Reed, and they gave me some jobs, and off I went. Got a website, and I became a magician, not really even knowing that it was a job. That guy getting on that train literally changed my life.
What was the card? I know lots of card tricks, as you said. I learned loads. Yeah. What was the card trick that you learned?
Well, the trick that I thought I want a great trick. I want to be able to go everywhere, and this trick's going to be amazing. It was a card trick. I do it. It's quick. It's fast. Do you want to,
yeah.
Literally, just name a playing card. Go.
Five of clubs.
There you go.
Do you know?
Perfect. It still works.
I actually
still got it.
That is that kind of card trick. Although we there is a holy grail of a card trick where there's a card at any number, or that's one of the grails, but also that think of any card. Because I do, there's a trick by Mark Oberon, is it called Bang On, which I do in my set, and because I do lots of gags and mucking around, I'm not really classed as a magician at all. But when you do that trick, you literally say, think of a card, or actually get someone else to choose it, point to someone else, otherwise they think it's set up. They just say any card, 7 of diamonds, and you bring out a wallet. Inside the wallet is an envelope. Inside that envelope is one card, and it's the 7 of diamonds. And it's a really clever trick.
And you'll slick at it as well.
You've got to practice it. You've got to practice it, because if you fumble, then it. I'm not going to pick on you. I want you to point to somebody else, but not in your group. Otherwise, it looks like we set this up. Because it's a bit of magic. Point to anybody in the audience, sir. Anybody like that person there. Where I'm not going to pick on you. Think of a card, any card you like, in a pack of playing cards. And you can change your mind, but when you've thought of it, just shout it out. You can keep changing your mind until you thought of a playing card. You, sir. Which one? What do you want? It's up to you. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter. What do you want? Which one? Queen of Hearts. You sure you want? You can change your mind. It doesn't matter to me. Sure. Queen of Hearts. Look at this. I've got one wallet here. One envelope. It's not going to work. Doesn't matter, does it? It's the Queen of Hearts. That's never worked before. I've done that 52 times. That's the first time. So from the homeless guy showing a trick, and then acting is one of your first gigs, but do you remember your first gig as a magician?
I do. Well, that's where I met Keelan, Nick, and Richard Reed. I got booked. I worked in a sort of an after hours bar type place, and I would, in between all the acting jobs and stuff, and I'd go and do magic for people there, and that's where I sort of.
So that was round the tables kind of thing.
Kind of, but not. It was more like a bar where I just go, Matt, can you come over? And I wasn't looking back. It wasn't great, but I got away with it. But someone at that venue said to me, "Can you come and do our corporate event?" And it was at the ballroom in Park Lane, which is the Grosvenor House. And there was about 2,000 people, absolutely like 200 and whatever tables, and I was booked to do one table just for that one company.
Seriously?
And I remember it was 500 quid, my first gig, one table, surrounded, and Keelan Laser, Nick Reed, Richard Reed were the magicians that had been booked to do the whole thing. And I just turned up, and they made the same face and noise that you just did. I'm here to do one table, and I said I've never done it before. This is it. And then when I did it, I went over and I said, "Do you want me to do some of yours?" And they were like, "Hey, okay, yeah." And we all became mates, and we still are really, really good, close mates now.
But that table went well. That gig.
That table went well. That was the first one, and then they gave me jobs, and I learned more and more and more, and off I went, literally.
I've done a corporate at the Park Lane, and it was one of the hardest gigs I've
done.
Hard. It was a similar thing. Like how many thousands?
It's like 2.5.
But like I was booked to do on stage, and it was it was a surreal gig in the sense that it was so many people in the audience,
and it's very wide.
It's very wide.
Like it's 5 tables in front, big dance floor.
Exactly that.
No chance.
Exactly that. No chances. And as a comedian, I had to do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I said to the organisers, all these people running around with earphones in, kind of, and I remember them saying, do it after I said, you have to do it during the coffees, because if they're serving food. And they said, fine. And I just someone just tapped me on the shoulder, can you go now?
Yeah.
And they were eating their main course. I said, no, in the coffees. I said, no, go now. Yeah. So I remember going on stage, and and I started doing my stand-up set. I know it's not about me, it's about Matt. But this was, it kind of, and I remember, there were these stilt walkers who had been in the foyer, and I started doing my gags, and these stilt walkers came in front of me on the dance floor, and I remember there's like 1,000 people in the audience, and no one was looking at me, and I remember coming off mic to the stilt walkers and going, "Fuck off!" to the stilt walkers. I remember it was the weirdest thing, and I went on, and I had to do my 10 minutes. It's like 1,000 quid for 10 minutes, and I remember looking at my watch and saying, "Thank you, good night." And I walked off to silence. I mean, I walked off to just the noise of people eating. It was the most bizarre gig. But yours went better than mine.
I've seen it. Well, it's one table, but I have actually performed on stage as well there.
Right.
And apart from the stilt walkers, suffered the same fate.
Seriously.
And every time I've worked there over the years, I don't think I've ever seen one act make it through, because it is just so noisy, so what. And you hit the nail on the head there. They don't actually pinpoint the moments for the acts or whatever's happening next. It's like, get on.
You've been booked.
And that's it can't be like that. You need full focus. You need to.
I'm glad you said you had a hard time. Only because I think, because I've seen you a few times. I've seen you at your residency at the Zadell, the Crazy Cox, which is, if you get a chance, go and see Matt. I am bigging you up because I think you're great at what you do, but also I think people say that about my act some of the time. It's bulletproof in the sense that, but it's not. Mine is much more vulnerable in a way. But I think I always class you as being bulletproof. Yeah. But we are going to go into worst gigs, best gigs. So, are you bulletproof?
Pretty much.
What is your worst? Have you got a worst gig?
Kind of.
See, you just saying kind of makes me think that you haven't had a bad gig.
They tend to be more problems that you face as a performer, going, this room, or there's I can give you a quick example. I did a golf event on Saturday, and the PAE and everything was fine. As soon as the guy came out to introduce me, all the mics went down and everything, and he still introduced me and brought me on. Right. And there was no mic, and so I've got a room full of people, and now I'm having to shout my act, and it doesn't work. You need your subtleties. You need the microphone. Yeah. You can't compete. You can to a certain extent, but so those things.
But have you had
the one?
Great. I think you're mostly one of the only people I've had in here who hasn't bombed, and I think there is a reason for that. I think because
I think it's twofold. One is the sort of the mentalism, the magic works. So there's an intrigue immediately, and it's funny because I interact with the audience so much and get them up. There's a lot going on that people are naturally interested in, and I'm very different to a comedian because I don't come out to make you laugh, which an audience can judge immediately. Are you funny? Do I like you? No, I don't. Or yes, I do. Or I'll give you another minute. Because of the way that my act works, I'm not asking you to find me funny. I say funny things, but that's not why I'm there. and then the sort of tricks come in that they don't know what's going on, and then it's funny. There's a lot packaged in it, and also because of what I'm doing, I've got very good techniques of shutting an audience up. Doesn't matter how big it is, I can silence a room based on the stuff that I'm doing. Whereas I think comedians, if they try and keep a room quiet because they're too noisy, it gets into a bit of a bar brawl, and I think sometimes that doesn't go in comedians' favour. And yeah, so far it's going to go horribly wrong for me now, and I know it. I'm going to have an absolute nightmare.
So, not really a worse gig there from Matt Daniel Baker.
There will be. I'll come back. I'll have
in a
one
year's
for
time,
you.
the next photo shoot. Best gig then?
Oh, best gig. I think my favourite gig was when I got asked to be a guest on the Basil Brush Unleashed show, theatre show, which is the adult Basil Brush theatre show.
So for the younger generation, is Basil Brush still out there? Because I mean, it was part of my growing up, Basil Brush, Boom Boom and all that stuff.
Yeah, and there was another wave of it. There was another big wave. You'll love this. He closes Glastonbury.
Wow.
I think it's 2 years or 3 years he's done it.
In the comedy tent, or
whatever it is. I think there's like 2,000 people. That bit, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But he's it. He's the big good night, and everyone just goes absolutely nuts. He did the live Taskmaster there this year and absolutely stormed it. Sang Purple Rain, had the whole place. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's brilliant. So what was yours? What was it?
So I got asked to do. So when they did devised the adult show, they did it in Edinburgh. They tried it out, and one of the things they did was they had a guest spot for all the acts. So they would let all the acts one at a time come on, plug their show. Basil would interview them about their show and they'd be off, so it sort of filled a little bit of time. So when he brought the show back down, he put it into the Leicester Square Theatre, so they needed that little slot done. So my manager, Hilary O'Neill, knows Mike Windsor, who is Basil Brush, and said, I've got a mind reader, you'll love him, da-da-da. Went and met him at Richmond Golf Club, where he plays golf. And it was phenomenal sitting and rehearsing with him. I came up with a routine. He just wanted me to come on and do my bit and be interviewed, work with the audience, off you go. But I designed a whole routine around him and me hypnotising him to read someone's mind in the audience. So even though it's me, it's about him.
Right.
And he gets it right, and it is impossible what he does. It is ridiculous.
So it's funny, but it's also
hilarious.
also really clever as well. Yeah.
It's completely baffling.
Right.
Really, really good thing. So good that I can't even go near it on my own. He makes it because he's just so brilliant. So getting that and then being in the wings on the night, watching the show from the start, and actually feeling, even though I've been doing this for years and years and years, literally the first time I ever felt like, oh my God, can I raise my game to match what's going on out there? And I had to just come out and do it, and it was so brilliant. And as a result of that, I've stayed his guest in the show whenever he does tours. And
so you tour with him. You tour.
Yeah, if there's theatre tours, I'll go and do it because I want to, and B, it just works so well. It's so unusual for Basil Brush to get involved in a magic trick and read someone's mind. And now we're the best of friends, and I've joined the golf club, the Stage Golf Club. We play golf together all the time.
With Basil or with?
With Mike, but he can't not do the voice when he misses putt.
That's funny as a concept. People don't know who he is.
Exactly.
But
he's mental.
Yeah. Does he come out with? He does the voice. Yeah. That's so funny.
He'll do it, or you tee your ball up and you're visualising your shot. Come on, Mr. Matt, give it a whack. Come on. He'll do all that.
Because it's kind of about comedy and magic. It could be performing, really. Do you have? You have got jokes in your set. You've got jokes in your set, but do you have a favourite joke of yours or someone else's? Or
I do have jokes, but mine are more sort of attacks on smiling attacks.
Yeah.
On people, but
I've never heard it put that way. Smiling attacks.
Smiling attacks. Yeah.
So I can't remember what year it was, but I was watching Britain's Got Talent, and Lost Voice guy came on, and he was brilliant. The first round was amazing, and then the semi-final. I was sitting watching the semi-final, and I had a question in my mind, about his act and what he was doing, and I was sitting there thinking, what? And then it sparked a joke, and I was like, that's actually quite funny. And so I got my laptop and I thought, who looks after Lost Voice Guy? I'm going to send this joke. And the reason that I wanted to send the joke is because years ago I wrote a joke for Ronnie Corbett and I didn't have the guts to send it to him.
Wow.
And it was a golf joke, because he always says it played 9 holes, played 5, fell down 4, and it's all references about him being small. And I came up with this joke about him. I play golf in all sorts of weather. I was playing golf yesterday and I could feel spots of rain, so I put my hand in the air to feel for rain, and someone put a ball in my hand and teed off.
That's a good joke.
It's a nice joke, but I never had the guts to send it, and not long after he left the earth. So I regretted not having the guts to send it. So that's why I thought, let me send this joke to Lost Voice Guys people. And anyway, they emailed back, and it was the best email I've ever had, just saying, we absolutely love it, Lee loves it, this is fantastic. And it was all about his iPad. So the iPad's facing him the whole time, and he presses it for his jokes. And I was like, what's he pressing? I just kept thinking, what is he pressing? What is he pressing? And I came up with the joke of right at the end, and I even designed the table that it goes on so he can spin it round and it locks into position so the cameras get it. I came up with that, sent it all off to them. I said, I didn't want anything for it, it's yours, please go and do well. And I didn't know until the night whether he was going to do it or not. And I'd bought a bottle of champagne, I think he was sort of favourite to win. All my family was there, and I was like, please do the joke, please do the joke. And when he came out and walked up to his table, I could see the round table, and I was like, he's going to do it, he's going to do it. So he's done his whole act, and it was all great. And then right at the end, he says, you're probably all wondering what I've been pressing on my iPad. Well, for the last 3 minutes, I've actually been voting for myself, and it was his screen with him just jabbing loads of votes.
What a brilliant gag.
It was, and it was great, and it was his little send-off, and it was perfect, that everyone laughed, the whole, and then he won, and it was just, So that is probably my favourite joke moment, lesson for life. Do stuff, get it out. Even if they'd have said no, it doesn't matter. I knew I could see it working, but it all. And then I went to see Lee, Lost Voice Guy, at the Soho Theatre. I finally sort of met him, and he said thanks, and we had a picture and all the rest of it. And that was an amazing moment in my life. It was good.
That's a great story. That's a great joke story. I think that's one of the best ones.
It's a good joke story.
Excellent. So it's also comedy, magic. It's also about photography. So photography, I always ask what your favourite photograph is.
I've got one. I've got a favourite photograph. Yep, it is. So years ago, I assisted a photographer, Gareth Bowden, amazing photographer, and I would carry his kit and learn about the lights, put the lights up and all that.
Come up with stories.
I know. It's just, I like Forrest Gump. It's all lies as well, which is the best bit. And I like Charlie Chaplin, and he found a really rare, it's probably not so rare now because of the internet, but he found a really rare photograph of Charlie Chaplin in a suit with a cane as himself, really moodily lit, stunning photograph in a book. And Gareth had an old, I think it was like a box camera, like one of the old things, and you'd put the hood. It was really amazing. And he flattened it, I think he did it under a piece of glass, flattened the book, and then got the lens in on it and took a photo of the photo, but it was perfect. It was like the original, and he got 2 big prints done of it and beautifully framed, one for him and one for me, and it's still, and I was 18 or something at the time. Wow. Boom, still on my wall. It's amazing.
Watch time. I love watches. I am wearing this. I have worn it once before on a shoot at the London Fashion Week in Camden. Near the Camden Market, very, very famous market. I love watches. How many times have I said that? But this one is a really special one. This is a Spinnaker. This is a beautiful one. Look at that dial on that. It's a dive watch. And you know how much I do diving, Frankie? Oh yeah, I'm always diving. But there's something about dive watches. It's got this bezel. You can hear that bezel. Can you hear that? But this is a really lovely automatic 200 metres, because I go down usually about 170. So having that extra 30 is good. It's good for me. But I just like the style of this one. It's very clean, very blue, matches my eyes. And they're green eyes, but they do a green dial as well, I think. Spinnaker. But I'm wearing it now for Matt Daniel interview. It's the Spinnaker Spence 300 diver, 200 meters. Oh, I go diving many times, but I do love this dial. It's not a heavy watch either, and it's automatic. It's pretty. Dimensions are really good for such a watch. Specs below, not glasses, but specs, specifications, not spectacles. So, do you wear a watch on stage, or have you got a watch?
I don't anymore. I did for years, and I used to do tricks with it. I'd get someone to think of a time, and they'd turn the handles around, and the hands, and it would be the time that they were thinking of.
I was going to buy that watch.
No, I did it with real watches.
Did you?
Well, my own watch, and it was a Hugo Boss watch. I purposely got an old mind readery one, and I used to do it all the time. And one of my publicity shots before I met you, I must say, it was me with the eyebrows up and the watch. And Hillary again said, never wear a watch in pictures, it's totally distracting.
Interesting.
And so I was like, oh. And the other thing that happened is that because people are looking for the answers of what I'm doing, how's he doing it? They'll literally, it's a dodgy pen, it's a dodgy tie, and my watch was one of the things that everyone, it's got to be something in his watch, even though it had nothing to do with, so over the years I've tried to remove anything to the point, even walking I've removed from my act. I stand behind a mic stand, I barely move.
Distraction's sake?
Just because it's more impossible. He hasn't moved, they've just done 75 minutes of, and I didn't move. How's that? I did one of those timeline videos. I did a theatre show, 2 45s, and I wanted to do a speed through. And all you see is that.
That's funny. I like that.
And people coming up backwards and forwards, but I didn't move. So that's why I don't have a watch.
Do you wear a watch outside of showbiz?
No, because of that. It was like I take it off, put it down. Where did I put it? But the picture in question with the watch is on a poster that I use in my show for one of the things that I do. So the watch is still very much in the show. What an answer that is.
It's a good answer, but there is. I was going to buy it, but I wasn't convinced enough. There are a couple of magic watches where you could do predictions.
Yeah.
That
I've had them. Yeah, and they're amazing. And
are they amazing?
They are, but this is of no relevance to anyone. But I don't like finding out if something's worked at the same time as the audience.
Yes. Okay. So you're the delayed kind of.
Well, no, as it worked.
Oh, I see.
You go, you ready? Boom, and it hasn't worked. So
okay.
All the stuff I know has worked before I announce it.
Very interesting. Don't you think because of the technology now that the youngsters know and also that's out, is that are people guessing stuff easier, thinking, oh, that's just electronics?
You get that a lot because your brain's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Logic kicks in and you're trying to understand, and most of the time people don't even know if they're right or not, but they'll lob an answer at you that is usually electronic based, or you change your playing card into something else. Are they heated? Are they stuck together? Because there's nowhere else for you to go. That's the whole point. That's why magic works, is because they don't know how it works. It's another thing, really. It's why the comedy's good in my act, because the heat's off of stuff that I'm using. You're listening to what I'm saying, or you're laughing at something that I've done while I give something out. Whereas I think sometimes, especially with mind readers, if you're taking it all quite seriously and someone goes, it's a dodgy pen, or it's a dodgy, you just, you're there with your fingers on your temples looking at her.
But also I've noticed with the stuff you do and good mentalists is that there's also always 2 or 3 methods to the whole of the routine you're doing. So, and it's very hard to work back of what you've kind of done to get to that.
Yeah. And again, it's the reason that magic works is because people don't know the ending.
Yes.
So they don't know what they're following.
Yes.
That's
so
why.
It's very hard to work back.
Yeah. So that's why people go, do it again. It's not that they want to be shocked again. It's that they want to now let me see the process again. I didn't know you were going to do that. Let me follow it. And that's the core of magic. Is I'm not going to tell you the ending. So with mentalism a little bit, if I've got an envelope and I go, I've got a picture that a child drew in here. Imagine what it is. What do you think? There's nowhere to go. That's got to work. So don't do that.
Matt Daniel Baker, I'm going to do a selfie.
Where do I look?
I don't know. Here. Yeah, I could do my mean, but I'm holding the camera. Brilliant. Where can we see you next?
The best place is the Crazy Cox at Zadell. So the residency is one a month.
Yeah.
It's usually the last week of every month, but the days change.
Oh.
So you can go on the website mattdanielbaker.com and you'll see all the dates there all through next year.
I have seen Matt there, and it is a great show. Matt Daniel Baker, thanks so much. Over and out.
Thank you.